Hello. So the video I released last week about why Trinity Twins and Stone Cold were such popular teams. I also talked about the Kark team that was shown in the top 3 arena teams for February 2023. And a lot of people talked about we tried to defend Kark, but here's the thing about Kark. Kark is not a good hero. He's mediocre at best. And there's 3 reasons for that. There's 3 themes really working against him. Is that he has stuns, except those get negated by Sebastian. Can block physical attacks, that's okay. But his ult here, his themes, he doesn't really have much. It's pretty much all on an ult. Pretty much his whole kit is based around his ult. And like I said, his more effective if you can stun him, but he can't stun very often because it's Ode to Serenity kind of dominates the metagame. And he's kind of banking on single target physical hits. And of course, because they're physical damage, you have heroes like Aurora and Dante who buff dodge buffs pretty frequently with Cane Patron. So Aurora, Dante, you can put Cane Patron on them, and then if they buff dodge with their artifacts. These heroes are both top picks in the metagame. They're both very, very common. You'll see both these a lot, and these make it really hard for Kark. You also have Axel's Bubbles of Justice. Like I said, Bubbles of Justice, Ode to Serenity are kind of defining abilities in the metagame. Sebastian's Ode to Serenity ability with Axel's Bubbles of Justice are defining abilities. So you have Sebastian blocking the status effect, so Kark can't stun, which means if you can't stun him, it's hard to break through dodge, because you can't dodge if stunned, but if the stuns are blocked, now, like I said, now Kark can't stun. And then the other thing is you have Axel's actual patrons, ability, defensive blub, which prevents one shot. So all these factors work against Kark, which makes it really hard for Kark teams to actually be effective. Kark ends up becoming a pretty weak hero, especially as a warrior who's trying to pick off squishies. Bubbles of Justice just redirects most of the damage to the tank, so it's plus they dodge, they have a chance of dodging, and it just makes it really hard for a Kark team to actually be successful in today's metagame. Even against a team you might think would be easy with a bunch of squishies on it. Let's say Trinity Twins. We tried this on the offense, but we'll reiterate it a bit here for a second just to kind of show, and then we'll do some other teams. Core is probably really common, but you have this is a team traditionally would have been easy for a Kark team to beat, but you have Bubbles of Justice, defensive blub, Ode to Serenity, plus you have dodge buff. So a team like this, and we're actually going to use a better Kark build. We're not going to use the crappy one that was there. We'll use Sebastian, we'll use Aurora, we'll use, where's Kark? Kark's here. Probably want that. We'll use Thea here. And where's Maya? Try something like this. Just to let's bring a chance to maybe silence or stun them. This might seem like a odd team, but it's better than that. It's better than that Astaroth, Nebula, Faceless team, I guarantee it. Like I said, Kai is one you should probably consider, but we're going to do this, try to see if we can strip off Ode in the first place. So you see the dodges, that's right there, number 1 problem with Kark. Right, we got 2 magic defense buffs, it's part of why I went with these, but this one is, yep, so this is a bit better. Because you have Maya who's able to strip off Ode to Serenity. But even then, for a team like this, you'd be better off dropping Kark for Arachne. That's the other thing, there's just better options. But this is actually working a lot better because you have the defensive buffs. But this is more of a winning in spite with a Maya being able to strip off Ode. So this is how you actually get a win with Kark. So there you go, there's a win with Kark. And that's because we actually did something to allow the stuns and stuff to exist. Plus you have the magic defense buffs. But if you use a team like they ran, with Astaroth, Astaroth's a terrible tank to run him. So, like I said, we'll use Sebastian instead of Nebula, though. But this is, like, you see teams like this that are, honestly, I don't know why. Where's Faceless, who was the other one? They used Nebula, Faceless. We're going to use Sebastian, because Sebastian's better than Faceless. Or, sorry, better than Nebula. Well, we could use Nebula over, maybe Nebula is better. We'll use Nebula over Faceless, actually. We'll try this. And this will kind of show you, like, the main problem. It's also a problem with, like, Astaroth. Astaroth is kind of a terrible hero. At least for a tank. Like, he has some value as a support, but... So this is what happens. Like, those kinds of Kark teams, they just get rolled. But you said, the one we used earlier with the 2 magic defense buffers, plus Aurora, who has good magic defense, who can help distribute magic damage with Bubbles of Justice. Much better in a Kark team. But with Astaroth, you're just probably not ever going to get a win. So don't use Astaroth with Kark. But you could probably just Holy Trinity here and then drop in... No, not that one. Something like this might even be better. Oh, no, actually, we want Fenris here. We want this here. So this one might even be better too with Dante, but we'll see. Might want Marcus. Yeah, no. Can't win Dante, like I said. The magic defense buffs plus Maya made that team way better. Oh, there's Faceless. We'll try Faceless and Aurora. And this one we'll play in manual. So you can sometimes get more value out of Faceless if you play in manual. I guess we'll put Mar there. Where do you want? It's kind of 6s. I think we'll do that because we're not really gonna. So I try to get some energy here. Power Throw from Faceless does have some value. So you use Kark's ult, and then you use Faceless ult. That kind of doubles up. There you go. There's a win. This is the reason you'd use Faceless. You wouldn't use Faceless on defense, though. But you really have to play Faceless manual because he's terrible otherwise. So there's a win. Boom. But Aurora is the second highest damage. And Aurora, like I said, with Bubbles of Justice, she can help mitigate a lot of the magic damage from heroes like Krista. Like if you go back into this. It's part of why you want to use Aurora versus mage teams. Because Aurora has the best magic mitigation in the game, and this is why you would bring in Aurora. This is... So we can run this again with Astaroth. But you see, like, we have Bubbles of Justice helping to mitigate, and Aurora has that extra damage to soak up. And this is how you can get a win with Kark. Like, with Astaroth, Astaroth kind of takes damage like a chump. He doesn't mitigate very well. So if we'd run this one with Astaroth instead, I don't think we'll get as good of results. And Faceless is here, and... we could try Martha. I think you're probably better off versus Twins. Thea's probably going to be an overall better pick in most cases. Versus Twins or even Marcus, because you want that magic defense buff. Yeah, this is going much worse, but also, like, yeah. So there you go, like that right there. like right there. So this did much worse with Astaroth's tank, like I said. So Aurora, that's what I mean though. Aurora is just such a better tank than Astaroth in pretty much every situation. Astaroth has some value as like a support hero, like behind like an actual tank, but right. He also has dodge rolls play a huge part. If you ever watch my Hero Wars Let's Play series, having good dodge rolls can make or break a fight. Having good dodge rolls can make or break a fight, and like I said, if we run that again, like it probably will not be a win. But if you're gonna use Kark though, Aurora probably the tank you want. Really, that's actually a tank. First tank everybody should develop is Aurora. She is the overall best tank. And after Aurora, your second one's probably going to be either Corvus or Rufus. Where's Martha? Oh, she's right here. Okay. Yeah, they really need to give us some more sorting functions for the heroes, because we have like 60 heroes now, and it's just really hard. Oh, shoot. Messed up the timing there. That's the other thing. It's really hard to get your timing right. Needed to vice that. I messed up the timing on that first one, but they had pretty good dodge rolls. But no, it's just much harder to get a win with Astaroth here. But it's like, so that's how you would make a better Kark team. Like if you're going to actually use Kark, I don't really recommend using Kark. Like even if we go to the first scenario where we totally wreck them with Maya and Thea. Right, we can bring back Thea, Maya. So instead of doing this, instead of running Kark in this team though, you're just better off running Arachne. Arachne, like I said, she was on my list of top 5 best heroes. Like Arachne is amazing. And if you want to do a physical attacker, Ishmael and Dante are both much better uses of your resources as well. Let's see, we could probably do this here, and though to be honest, I'd probably recommend using Celeste over Thea with Arachne Maya usually. But again, it's that easy win here. Like this is the reason I'd want Celeste, because you got Sebastian here. Good with Oliver Patron. Makes it a bit harder. But we could still win. Like, that's where I'd say, like, but Arachne Maya is much more versatile. Like, in general, Arachne is a really good hero. But that's kind of why I don't really recommend Kark. Why Kark's kind of a bad hero. But if you're going to build a Kark team, though, Sebastian should always be in your team. And Aurora should probably be your tank. Like, Astaroth's pretty bad. It's hard to get a win with Astaroth. Much easier to get a win with Aurora. Yeah, not too much more to say about it. If you missed my video on, like, why Trinity Twins and Stone Cold were, like, popular teams, you can find that below. Thanks for watching.